And then when your behavior needs to change, follow the model. Paul says, I'm giving you a model. Just do what I do. Of course, he's in jail, but maybe that's part of the model. Being willing to walk into a place of suffering because of Jesus. So here's the deal. Paul says, think about these things, live this way. He's giving people a framework. The message gives a framework for life. Number 3, this message gives me strength. Paul says, verse 10, I rejoice greatly. Man, he just likes that word. I rejoice greatly in the Lord that at last you've renewed your concern for me. Indeed, you have been concerned, but you had no opportunity to show it. I'm not saying this because I'm in need, for he's in jail, right? He says, I'm not saying this because I am in need, for I've learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do everything through him who gives me strength. In the NIV translation that's going to be released in a couple months, they've updated this one. It doesn't say I can do everything. It says I can do all of this. The stuff that I'm talking about, this being content thing, this whether well-fed or hungry situation, I can do all this stuff. I can handle it all because God gives me strength. This message of Jesus gives me strength. And then finally, Paul says, yes, it was good of you to share in my troubles. Share. This leads us to the last blank. The message gives me encouragement through my new family. We've come all the way through this journey. And I want to recognize to you that in actual fact, everything Paul has been talking about in this book is about the relationship he has with people. The relationship he has with the Philippian church people as a result of this message of Jesus. This message has changed Paul, and through Paul has changed them, and as a result, they have joined him. They have become partners with him. They're supporting him. They have sent financial help. They have sent prayerful help. And if you read the letter from beginning to end with that mindset, you begin to see a brand new view of joy. That joy comes when the message of Jesus changes my life and through me changes your life, and together we are changed. That in peacefulness with each other, in community with each other, in love for each other, our lives are changed, and that's where the joy comes. When I think back to my best Christmases, I think of times where people showed me that they really knew me, that they really got me, they really understood me. I like doing this kind of stuff. I'm going to take you on memory lane with me for just like 2 more minutes. And I'm going to take you all the way back to like the 90s, okay? And maybe even late 80s. I don't remember when I got this particular gift, but it was in the late 80s, early 90s. So, and yes, for those of you who are expecting it, it is computer technology. I'm a nerd. What can I say? I'm a short nerd. So here we go. This thing on the screen is called the Commodore 1581 floppy disk drive. I heard some murmuring. How many of you have any idea what this thing is? Yeah, okay, we have got a few people. All right, okay. So the Commodore 64 was the world's most awesomest computer. Most awesomest, yes, I said that. It is the world's most incredible computer. It had 64 kilobytes of RAM on board. Who would ever need more? It had a sound engine that could produce 3 different sounds at the same time that all sounded like but 3 of them at the same time. It had colors on the screen, and it had a resolution of something like 320 by 240. My iPod can do better than that. But anyway, so up until the point when I got the 1581 floppy disk drive, I was making do with one of these guys, the 1541 floppy disk drive, and this is a floppy disk. It was floppy. Okay? So these things were big, they were bulky, they were floppy, they could hold about 300 kilobytes on one disk, which was just amazing. And if you put a notch on the left-hand side, you could flip it over and use the back side of it, and then you'd get another 300. But the cool thing was that these tiny little ones that the 1581 hard drive, floppy disk drive could do, the tiny disks, you've probably seen these. The Macintosh made these things famous, and then they sort of caught on. And so these smaller ones could hold 800 kilobytes of memory. So that was like over twice as much as one of those other floppy things. Just amazing technology. I love the thing. But I'm telling you this because there was one day at Christmas that I came to the tree and I unwrapped a package, and in that package was that 1581 floppy disk drive for Commodore. And you all can agree with me today that that is a silly gift to give a 12-year-old. But my parents gave it to me because they understood me. They knew, and so when I saw that thing, I recognized that they knew me. They knew the kinds of things that I was interested in. They knew the kinds of things that I wanted. And that's what made that gift so cool. Sure, it was great technology, but it was the fact that my parents had actually, they knew me. I want to show you one more example of this. The first Christmas, my wife and I were engaged. Actually, we were only engaged for one Christmas. So the only Christmas we were engaged, I bought her a watch. And it was a little gold watch, and I had the back side of the watch engraved. And the watch was engraved, it said, I think, love for all time. Or it's just for all time, I think was on the back. Just the phrase for all time. Is that it? Just for all time. For all time. Okay, so I thought this was cute. We were engaged. I'm giving her a watch. It says for all time on the back. And then it kind of faded back into the back side of my memory for quite some time. Until the year 2000 rolled around, and I had just graduated from graduate school. My first son was coming up to my only son. My son was coming up to his first birthday, and so it was December 2000. He was born in February of 2000, so we're coming up to his first birthday. And I am coming up to starting a brand new job, where I had accepted a job in Chicago, where I was going to be the pastor of a church in Chicago. And my wife bought for me this desk clock. It's made out of nice, pretty rosewood. And you open it up, and it's got this clock inside with a little ring that allows you to figure out what time it is anywhere in the world. And there's an engraving on the top that says, Daddy, reaching the world for all time. And I just wanted to show you how awesome my wife is. But seriously, what that did for me, this is the only gift. I'm telling you the truth. This is the only gift I ever cry about. The only gift that ever has ever brought that to me. That says this is so meaningful to me. Because so much of my life was beginning to take a brand new turn, and a turn that I hoped at the time was going to be God working through me to make a difference in people's lives.